It is becoming increasingly difficult to censor, trick, confuse, and control the American public. And that's making some people quite angry. Who's mad? Well, giant corporations and the U.S. government, they're beyond sad. Today, we'll tell you 3 stories that show exactly how frustrating it must be for the gatekeepers who realize they're no longer in control indeed. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Pro Channel, where we as ever endeavor to explain entertainment and keep you ahead of the culture curve. Today, we are going to be going through 3 stories, folks, and we promise that by the end of this, you're going to be a genius when it comes to the control effort that has been underway to make sure you believe the official narrative and that you never stray. But that time has come to an end, and the beginning of a new era is upon us. Folks, click that like button, and here we go. At a place that you might not have thought of, but we'll go there because it is indeed indicative of what's happening all across the nation of the United States. From the Walt Disney Studios, Mufasa the Lion King is now the #1 movie in America and the #1 movie in the world. 2 weeks in a row. See it now, only in theaters. Oh, Disney. Oh, Disney. For decades and decades and decades, the entertainment companies have been able to tell you the #1 movie, the greatest movie. They take the quotes. You know, you've seen that in the old commercials where they take the quotes like a little snippet from a review that says it's a hot piece of garbage, and they say, it's hot, and that's it, right? You've seen that. Well, take a look. No longer can that happen because readers have added context. That means Disney, for the second time, has received a community note. And yes, this is the second time about this movie for the exact same reason. Readers added context they thought people might want to know. That's not true. Sonic 3 is still the #1 movie in America. You can check the top box office in the United States, and it provides IMDb. Now, we're going to use the numbers to show this, but also I love this because Lorena Creole quotes Ben Schwartz. Sonic 3 is the #1 movie at the domestic box office again this weekend. And Ben, who plays Sonic the Hedgehog, is exactly right. Disney can no longer get away with giving you bad info, and neither can the other corporations. And remember, they're back on X advertising again. They're going to have to ramp that up because X is the #1 news platform in the world. So whatever you might think of X, whatever you might think of their most recent controversies surrounding the web, just know that at least Disney is caught in a web of, well, maybe not deceit, but maybe also not truth. It's under their feet, perhaps. But no, people are holding their feet to the fire. Take a look at this out of the numbers. Sonic the Hedgehog is indeed the #1 movie in North America, above Mufasa the Lion King, this time earning $38 million versus Mufasa's $37. Sonic only dropping 37%. And of course, Mufasa going up 5%. So how did Disney manage to make this happen? Well, folks, if you've watched this channel, you know, because we've been telling you over and over, because it matters, that Disney has been holding theaters to contractual obligations to show The Lion King. That's why Lion King has 4,100 theaters unchanged. Meanwhile, Sonic only had an increase of 8 theaters. Cinema owners would likely try to fix that because if you look at the per theater numbers there, Sonic is earning $10,000 per theater, Mufasa $9,000, and remember that the average movie ticket price for Mufasa is dramatically higher than Sonic because Mufasa has all of the IMAXs essentially and most of the premium theaters. Well, what about the claim that Mufasa is #1 in the world? Well, folks, we dive in right now to show you what's really going on. Mufasa the Lion King, the sequel to the Lion King, but not that Lion King, different Lion King, the 2019 one, it has an international box office of $214 million. Much of that, by the way, is coming from countries like China, where the Walt Disney Company will only get 20% or less of the revenues back because China takes basically everything and says you get almost nothing. So that China amount, that's about $8 million, Disney will get maybe less than $2 million of that back. But that's really not the story here, folks, because it turns out that Sonic has only a little bitty $74 million in international box office. How can that be? Well, take a look at this. As opposed to Mufasa, where all the territories and all of the cinemas are quickly reporting, it turns out for Sonic, almost all of the territories now are still at $0, despite the fact that Sonic released a week after Mufasa on Christmas Day internationally. Sonic still basically getting no numbers in. So all of these numbers coming from international, well, they're not showing up yet. That's the reason that Mufasa has such a huge international box office, because all the countries are already reporting. Isn't that funny? Isn't that interesting? See how the game is played, folks? It's just too bad that the community notes land and make Disney very sad. Of course, that's not the only story we have for you today. I want to share two more with you that show that censorship is falling apart. And I'm sure there will be a backlash and attempt to gain control once again of the American public. But here's what we've got. Out of Fox News, the State Department's Global Engagement Center, accused of censoring Americans, shuts its doors. This is by Morgan Phillips and Michael Dorgan. It says the Department of State has consulted with Congress regarding next steps, a spokesperson said. As Trump gets ready to take office, essentially, the censorship department of the U.S. government is, shutting down. Elon Musk doing a great job of shutting down mistruths coming from corporations, but what about the government? Let's see. The State Department's Foreign Disinformation Center, accused by conservatives of censoring U.S. citizens, shut its doors due to lack of funding this week. Elon Musk had deemed the Global Engagement Center, established in 2016, the, quote, worst offender in U.S. government censorship and media manipulation, unquote. And its funding was stripped as part of the National Defense Authorization Act, the Pentagon's yearly policy bill. The Global Engagement Center will terminate by operation of law on December 23rd, 2024, so it's already done. Lawmakers had originally included funding for the GEC in its continuing resolution, but that was taken out by that bill, remember, when it was cut down. The GEC, according to reporter Matt Taibbi, funded a secret list of subcontractors and helped pioneer an insidious and idiotic new form of blacklisting during the pandemic. And yes, folks, that means that independent media up until now was likely being censored by the U.S. government through this agency. Taibbi wrote last year when exposing the Twitter files that the GEC, quote, flagged accounts as Russian personas and proxies. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you a Last Jedi disliker? Oh, I'm sorry. You might have been a Russian persona and proxy based on criteria like describing things as bioweapons or blaming research conducted at institutes or attributing the appearance of, well, these things. I'm being careful, folks. You know why. I'm sorry if you're just listening, but there are things I can't say on the platform in which we are, although I like the platform upon which we are. Quote, State also flagged accounts that retweeted news that Twitter banned the popular U.S. website Zero Hedge, claiming that it led to another flurry of disinformation narratives. So, this was all being manipulated. The online social media discourse, the town square digital, was being diffused and, befuddled by the U.S. government huddling together to figure out how to control the narrative. Now, the government and the corporations cannot control it any longer. And take a look at this. This is our final story showing you that truly you are being empowered. A new age is upon us, so long as you will take hold of it and safeguard the freedoms that you're receiving. This is out of Bitcoin.com news. It's by Jamie Redman. Shut it down. Artificial intelligence exposes hidden pork in Congress's controversial spending package. Folks, as I get ready to read this one, I want to connect it, though, to more. That's what you're here for. You're here for more. You want more, and we're here to give it to you in abundance because we believe in it. I just want you to realize that at the most basic level, artificial intelligence is already impacting the U.S. government. It's already exposing that which the politicians never wanted to be exposed. Remember when Nancy Pelosi said, you have to pass the bill to know what's in the bill? Well, folks, that's no longer the case. In fact, that statement cannot exist in the world of today. But that's not all. Remember, you want more. Well, this also means that artificial intelligence can break down this stuff, the information about corporations, in ways that would take researchers and teams of researchers weeks, months, years. We can now break all of that down in a way that they certainly do not like. Now, folks, we're going to scroll down this article because there's a lot to get to, and I want to get to what matters, okay? So here's what we have. Let's see. Okay. We'll read it right here. This bill didn't pass because of artificial intelligence. This bill is like a treasure chest of spending with funding for at least 12 new biolabs. Yada, 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 yada. It was awful, okay? All right, here's what you need to know. Plus, with this bill being so massive, a ton of Americans are turning to artificial intelligence to dissect it piece by piece. Grok, that is the artificial intelligence on X/Twitter, says a normal human being would need 7 days working 8 hours each to read it and understand it. That being the 1,500 plus page, the spending bill that was attempted to be passed by Congress but was stopped by artificial intelligence. How? Well, thanks to AI, it's now impossible to hide pork in a bill, explained Preston Byrne. You can analyze and extract the worst parts of any 1,500-page law, prep a pressure campaign, and launch it in minutes, not weeks. In other words, this giant 1,500-page bill that had to be passed in 12 hours or 24 hours or whatever it was, this high-pressure campaign, we've got to get it passed or the U.S. government will shut down. Oh, no, please don't shut down our government. Well, it turns out that AI read it all and was able to identify all the crap that was in there. And then the American public was against the crap, and it all fell apart. Well, let me ask you this. What happens when artificial intelligence is unleashed on companies like Disney, on other corporations trying to mislead perhaps? What happens when AI is unleashed to not only parse out what's going on in these giant bills, but also in the financials? Well, folks, we're here to tell you, entertainment companies can no longer say the things they thought they once could say. They don't have the gatekeeping powers they once had. The world has changed. It has shifted in the last year, and dramatically so. And now it is up to you. It is up to me. It is up to all of us to safeguard our ability to discourse and to discuss what has us disgusted in the world. It's up to us to make sure that we maintain the ability to stay forthright and up to date and get the information we need. Because guess what? Transparency just so happens to be the antiseptic to really bad ideas and corruption. Keep the transparency flowing. And folks, that's what this video is all about, is helping you be in the category of people knowing what's going on. Now, get out there and shout out and say, Disney, you're not going to confuse me anymore. Sonic the Hedgehog is the #1 movie, at least in North America. Get out there and say to the U.S. government, you will not censor us anymore. It's inappropriate. Don't do it. It's bad. And get out there and say, folks, that when people try to hide all kinds of stuff inside of bills and inside of corporate language and lingo, it makes you sad. And you don't want to see it no more. Sick your AI or your agents on the sick people trying to hide things away from you. And never let them get control again, because you, the American public, you, the highest IQ internet audience on the web, you know better than they how these things should be spent and what they should say when it comes to the truth. Folks, that is the video for the afternoon. What a joy it is to talk to you. Hope you've learned a little bit, as did I doing the research for this video today. We always try to end on a very high note. Folks, the highest of notes, of course, is when you click the like button, because it's a vote of confidence that you'd like to see videos like this more. And it sends it out to all of the people across the wonderful YouTube sphere from shore to shining shore. Folks, we sure would like it if you'd also subscribe and drop a comment down below. Let us know your thoughts and tell us, does this perhaps for the moment give you more confidence in AI, or is it still a very scary thing, a genie that you do not wish to be let out of the bottle? Folks, we hope that you will continue to throttle this channel with all kinds of good vibes. We'll see you real soon, we hope. 4 videos a day coming out every single day, and more on the way. The Holly Weirds don't like it, but we'll continue to bring them back to the sensible center, the mainstream middle, where money is made. Until the next time, folks, keep learning, keep growing, and keep having fun.
Wilton, what are you doing?
Well, word on the street is the culture war has officially made it to the doorstep of that Park Place. and I realized Jonas has no one there who loves him. So I thought I should go and protect them.
Yeah, okay. That's not, how you do this, right?
Do what? Fight? Don't worry, Floral. I will not be intimidated by a criminal threat.
Threat? Wilton, don't be ridiculous.
What does it matter to me? I have only one life to lose.
I mean, I totally expected you to die walking into traffic, but,
They may take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom!
Okay, just stop. This is just nonsense. You already have one of the easiest and most effective tools and weapons at your fingertips.
My axe?
No. The truth. Stay smart and ready to tell and share the truth by keeping up to date with WDW Pro, That Part Place, as well as Valiant Renegade.
And Jonas? I mean, he does things with Vash, and that's not very reassuring. That's like putting two helpless chipmunks into a piranha pond.
That's neither true nor accurate. Unlike the team from That Part Place.
So sue me.
Ugh.